So let us meet at the next part of the error analysis. And this is CV Sharma with you back with another video. And here the next one is the accidental error. This error gives too high or too low results. And the measurements involving this error are not included in the calculations. And the next one is systematic error. Okay. These are different types of errors. The systematic errors are those errors that tend to be in one direction. Okay. Either positive or negative direction. Errors due to air buoyancy in weighing and radiation loss in calorimetry are systematic errors in nature. They can be eliminated by manipulation of some of the sources of systematic errors. What are the sources of systematic errors? They are basically instrumental error, imperfection in the experimental technique or procedure, or personal errors. Okay. Next is absolute error or relative error and percentage error. These are the next key points what we are going to discuss. Mean of observations. What is mean of observations? Suppose you have observations x1, x2, x3, so on up to xn. Arithmetic mean of these observations is x mean is defined as x mean is equal to x1 plus x2 plus x3 so on up to xn divided by n. So this is a pretty simple task. Like when you have several observations x1, x2, x3 so on up to xn, right? And then what is x mean? X mean happens to be like x1 plus x2 plus x3 so on up to xn whole divided by n. This is what is represented over here. And now that is written as sigma xi and I running from 1 to n whole divided by n. This is what is called mean. The arithmetic, this is also called the arithmetic mean or the mean of observations. Arithmetic mean of n numbers is given by this fundamental formula. These observations taken as the best possible value of the quantity under the given conditions of measurement. The arithmetic mean, I'll read again. The arithmetic mean of these observations is taken as the best possible value of the quantity under given conditions of measurement. What we do is we construct several observations and take average value, and the average value is the best value what you can get. So that is what the idea is. And after this, we do something. What is this absolute error? So for each quantity, for each measurement, you can generate the error. So it is like this. So error in the first measurement is the mean minus x1. The mean value you get, suppose there are 3 measurements. Let us say 3 we have, 4 we have, 7 we have. And then what would be the average of this output? What is the average value? Average value is nothing but 3 plus 4 plus 7. That's the average divided by 3. So sum of the numbers divided by 3. So that is basically 14 by 3. So 14 by 3 is the average. So this average is our x mean. And now how do I calculate delta x1 is like this. Delta x1 is this x mean, that is 14 by 3 minus the first measurement what we got is 3. So like this we do. And delta x2 is, and again the mean of the measurement, that is 14 by 3 minus the second measurement, which is 4. I hope you understood the example here. And now let us move on further. The absolute error may be positive or negative. It's possible that the mean value. So if you have a situation like you can see this, the last measurement like 14 by 3 minus 7, if I consider that will 14 minus 3 into 7, that is 21 divided by 3, which is less than 0. This is a negative value. So it can be absolute error, maybe positive or negative. That is a statement here. Absolute error may be positive or negative. Very important point. So it can be asked in the bits also, possible in the multiple choice. Right. Now let us move on further. Absolute mean error. So the average of the mod of the errors is called absolute mean error. So x mean is you take modulus. So when you convert the modulus, what is mod x? You know that mod of -5 will write it as +5. So if it is 5, it stays as it is. So it is like magnitude. It is like modulus. Mod x is, you know, all of you know that it is x. Mod x is equal to x when x is greater than 0. Right. It's equal to -x when x is less than 0. So that is the modulus function we are talking about. I hope you understand this. You are good at math, and then you know this one. This is the modulus function. So it changes if at all negative sign is there, it converts to positive. Sign converts to positive value. Okay. And again, the if at all positive sign is there, it stays as it is. Okay. Stays as it is. So that is what is modulus value. So that is delta x1. So even you have negative values, make it positive values and just add up and then divide it by the number of measurements. Then you get delta x mean. I hope you have got this. Now the next one, relative error, most important. So what is a relative error? Relative error is something like this: delta x mean divided by x mean. So it is something like delta x by x is called a relative error. And the next one is called the percentage error. Percentage error is given by the idea delta x mean divided by x mean multiplied by 100%. That is called percentage error. Right. Now, so the next part is these results are sufficient from here onwards. So let x is equal to a plus or minus b. Errors in sum and difference, how do they appear? See, if you sum two quantities, like x is actually the sum of the numbers a plus b. And now how does the error will turn up? So that is the idea here. A plus or minus b they have taken consideration. How does the error will turn up? Delta x. Delta x can be like plus or minus delta a plus or minus delta b. Like this, you will end up. That is the answer. But what is the maximum possible error is what we have to understand. So for that, I'll give you one simple formula. You can remember errors are always additive. Errors are always additive. This idea you keep it in mind. So never subtract one error from another. This is the idea I want to give you. Never subtract one error from another. So that if these 2 points you remember, 90% of the problems you can solve. So this is the idea. Why I am telling like this. I tell you one thing. So let us take the consideration of this one. For example, I am let us say I am measuring the area of a square. Okay, and again I have another square connected to this. I measured the area of this first square and with the side length of x, and then I measure it as x square, and they have an error uncertainty is 0.5 square meters. Okay, square meters. That is the error uncertainty what I'm having, plus or minus 0.5 I have. And now here I took a y square, that means another square. I measured the area once again, and here I have the same amount of uncertainty, which is 0.5 square meter. Okay, square meter. So this is both having the same amount of error. Now I want to add up these two for some measurement. I want to add up these two. Now I want to see what is the error associated with the addition of these two measurements. So when I'm calculating the error while addition of these two measurements, or if I have to calculate the error while subtraction of these two measurements, in any case. So let us say addition of these two measurements, I will add up these two errors. Okay, fine. When I subtract these two measurements, like the area of the square one, which is A2, area of the square 2 is A1. When I calculate A2 minus A1, if I subtract this error from this error, which are both 0.5, right? The errors are 0.5 minus 0.5. When I do that, I will end up with a situation which is absurd, that my entire measurement of calculating the error when I subtract these two is error free. So which is absurd. So we don't do that when this kind of situation is not. That's why they thought of that. It's what is the maximum possible error. It's obvious that once you carry out a measurement over here and you carry out another measurement over here, and you do any kind of stuff like adding or subtracting or whatever it is, the errors will add up. So that is the idea what you need to have. You should not subtract one error from another. In this case, if you subtract the errors, what will happen? The 0.5 minus 0.5 will cancel out. It will end up with a zero error. So which is impossible. Okay, this is an absurd measurement. So that is impossible. So the reason that what is the possible maximum possible error is what we report, which is delta A plus delta B. So plus or minus delta A plus delta B is the right thing. This is the maximum possible error you can think of, the maximum possible absolute error in X. So this is the one which we have to report all the time. Okay, I hope I'm clear with what I'm trying to tell. Now let us move on. The maximum absolute error is the sum and difference of the two quantities equal to sum of the absolute errors of the individual quantities. That is the maximum error. So, okay. So let us take an example here. The original length of a wire, is 153.7 plus or minus 0.6 centimeters. It is stretched to 155.3 plus or minus 0.2 centimeters. Calculate the elongation in the wire within the error limits. So first, how to do this value? See, first you have to take, this is like you consider the elongation in the length is like difference of these two L's. First, they have written this 153.7 plus or minus 0.6. So let us say this is the X, the value of X. And this is our delta X. Okay, this is our delta X. Okay, X is this value. And this is our delta X. And similarly, we have the value Y, which is 153.5. 155.3. This is my Y value. And then delta Y happens to be 0.2. Keep it separate first. Errors you separate from the original values. Okay, plus or minus something they have given means this is the error part. Error part you keep it separate. And now you take this subtraction. This is Y minus X kind of thing. So this is 155.3 minus 153.7. That is what we did here. And then you end up with 1.6 centimeters. First, you calculate the subtraction. That is the amount of elongation. After stretching the wire, this is the increase in the length. So this tells us how much the length has increased. How much the length has increased. This tells us how much the length has increased. And now, what is the maximum possible error? It is the sum of the both errors. So the first error is 0.6. So that is written here. And the second error is 0.2. That is written here. You have to add up these two. So which is 0.8. So the variations can be between plus or minus 0.8. That can be 1.6 plus 0.8 or 1.6 minus 0.8. These are the possible things you can have. Okay. So the elongation, the variation in the elongation can be like this. So that's what it means. What does it mean? See, it can be the elongations can range between 1.6 plus 0.8, which happens to be 2.4 and 1.6 minus 0.8, which happens to be 0.8. So the values will lie between 0.8 to 2.4. That's what we are trying to tell using this error kind of thing. So this error, this is the maximum possible variations. This is the maximum possible fluctuations you can have while taking this particular measurement. That is the basis idea here we are trying to tell. So this is the, at this point I'll stop the error analysis, the second video I think on the error analysis. The third video will start. I'll come back soon with third video. And thank you all. Thanks for watching the video, and hit a like, subscribe, and please do share. And I need your support in order to make this channel a super hit. Thank you all.